one thing you've never heard anybody say is, man, that was a terrible looking movie. You know, the art in that was just, the animation was so bad. No, if anything that's consistent with Pixar is always on the visual level. You know, their artistry, their character design, their world design is beautiful, man. And that's the same thing for me here. Most of the world is beautiful right here. What better way to address racism and tolerance than by talking about people that don't exist? I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody talks about things like the Twilight Zone and other things that are supposed to be like parables, allegories for racism and whatnot. I've never been crazy about it because people can just ignore it. You know, that's why they had to do it with that. That's why a lot of stuff that you had on the Twilight Zone was science fiction, because they said, well, we don't talk about mistreating black people.
Well, it was more of it. If we just put it out there, people will ignore it.
Yeah.
But this way you can kind of slip it in on them.
And still people didn't see it. Yeah, it's a shame the way they treat those aliens, ghosts and things. But that's what they're trying to do with the latest Pixar movie, which is Elemental. Elemental takes place on, I guess, Elemental Island, where you have different races of creatures. They're all made up of different elements. You have fire people, water people, earth people, cloud people. Of course, with so many different people out there, they're just like humans, you know. They some of them are cool with each other, some of them are, don't come around here with that. Especially you filthy immigrants, which are the fire people. The fire people are not looked upon favorably by society. So it's bad because a lot of people say, you know what, I'm fine with fire people. I just don't want my daughter to marry one. Right. I just don't want one in the family, They're cool from a distance. But that is what's happening right here. You have in this movie here a sudden romance that comes up unexpectedly between a water guy named Wade and this girl that he's in love with, a fire chick named Ember. The immigrants are tired of being looked down upon by society. So of course I don't want my daughter marrying those people that look down upon us. And of course, water people saying, well, shit, you're gonna die. Even if you kiss them, you're gonna evaporate, which is one of the things I want to talk about with this film. But as you can see, this is not only an allegory for tolerance and racism, but also interracial marriage. And love conquers all. And hey, you know what? When you think about it, we're all, even though some of us are fire and others are water and others are dirty ass dirt people, we're all the same deep down inside.
Yeah, and I know you hate immigrants, but if you got to know them, they're all right.
They're all right. Just go back where you came from. But other than that, that is what Pixar is trying to teach people. Pixar has done very well with allegories about certain things like emotions and menstruation and periods and things like that. So do they succeed here as well? Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer for Pixar's latest, Elemental, and we'll be back to give you our opinions on this movie right after this.
Ooh, thought bubble.
With Pixar, needless to say, the artistry is always great. One thing we can say with Pixar, hey, listen, we've always heard people say, well, for a Pixar movie, it was a little disappointing. Or, oh man, that is chef's kiss Pixar right there. Pixar, you done it again. But one thing you've never heard anybody say is, man, that was a terrible looking movie. The art in that was just, the animation was so bad. No, if anything that's consistent with Pixar is always on the visual level. Their artistry, their character design, their world design is beautiful, man. And that's the same thing for me here. Most of the world is beautiful right here, especially with things like, they've thought out this world, like public transportation, like, they have a big ass Zeppelin that drops off and picks up cloud people, or the water people get around in like big water slides and tubes. It's like one big environmental theme park, man, which is, you saw this, right?
Yeah.
You didn't see this though.
No.
It looks fun. It just looks fun, man. And it all looks like sweet tarts. I just want to eat everything, especially the cloud people. Cloud people like cotton candy to me, man. I even like the movie's full of puns. Now, you would appreciate this.
Well,
like, no,
too damn many.
I got my limits.
They went overboard.
Everything is a pun. Because what you have here are the Fire family, Ember's family. they run a store like a lot of immigrants do when they come in, and all the products in the store are just. I'm trying to see if I can pause it on one. A lot of products in the store are just they're puns like fiery flakes. Like that's to take on frosted flakes, stuff like that. Not all of them are the best puns, but but you have your pick. And like I said, the character designs are always fun, man. These characters are always alive. They're always moving. They're flaming, flowing, or growing. So I appreciated that. I'm going to say this and I'm going to pass it on to Martin. I just want to get out the way and say that I don't think that the concept outside of the design is thought out very well. I think the concept might even be a little confusing. So the characters, again, are metaphors for unity and diversity, not just among race, but among class. And Elemental Island, if I can move there, I would. They got the best economy I have ever seen. They ain't no ghettos, trailer parks, ain't no hoods.
That's true.
So as far as they're trying to address, this whole thing with class and whatnot, maybe they just didn't want to. It's a lot to fit into a movie anyway. They don't do that. I can let that slide.
Well, there's sort of that thing of like, wow, everything here is great, and yet there's still people who have prejudice.
Well, see, I can understand that because... also, let me just say this. In the movie, there's two types of people too, people and immigrants. Hey, you either talk like this or you talk like this. It's so it's not like a whole lot of diversity here. You either from over there or you from here already. So that's something else that again, I don't know, man. I think it's a little oversimplified in this movie. But okay, again, that's not going to bother me. I can let that slide. But this whole message of racism here, I don't think that was well thought out, because this whole, with this, what they're trying to say is, hey, we're all the same deep down inside. That don't make sense here, man, because they are not only are they different from each other, but they are dangerous to each other. Yeah. It don't make sense to me, man. Like I can listen. I ain't got no fired people prejudice myself, man. I ain't racist against fired people, but I get why people don't want them around, because they set shit on fire. Yeah, that's what. They burn stuff. They burn stuff down. I mean, if you're an earth person, you can't even touch them. If you're an earth person, you're covered in grass. You're burned alive. You try to touch them. It's like, of course. Listen.
Well, look. You're an earth person, and the foliage that you've grown, that's just a decoration. That's like your clothes.
Yeah. But if you touch him just a little bit longer, he'd be dead. And I would just say this: the movie makes a clear case for why people should not be around each other.
You know what? That was that was one of the things I found most amusing. Is that for the message of like, hey, don't treat the fired people bad. They're not just immigrants; they're practically refugees. But it is a. Yeah, but they do kind of cause a problem. You're like, I ain't trying to. I ain't trying to be a racist or xenophobe. But you do see there's a problem.
Yes, they make a good point. Why these people need to stay where they are. The movie, the movie almost justifies racism. It does. This whole thing about unity is lost on me, man. Because I'm kind of like, y'all need to go.
I mean, the water people and the cloud people seem to have it together, and the earth people ain't bothering nobody. But no, you fire people, man.
Yeah, y'all got to go somewhere, because even when they come over there, they try to force people to eat their food, and people, they can't eat their food. It is the worst case of heartburn you'll ever get. Like, this food will kill people.
You really food inspector?
As far as you know, yeah.
He gonna die.
I was like, ain't nobody gonna step in and go like, come on, man, don't make him do that. It's like somebody from Kansas eating spicy Indian food for the first time.
And just pushy with it, man. Again, I'm not trying to oversimplify the movie by saying it racists will love this. I'm not saying that either. I just don't think the concept is as well thought out as some other Pixar movies. I understand why they went with it. it's a clever concept in the beginning. I just think it needed a little more of a punch up, a little more finesse to make it make more sense than it does right here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great concept also, and especially how the way they've built the world, they put a lot of thought into it. I think that it's almost like they got so involved in it and we're having a good time, and then when it came down to, okay, but now we have to have fire and water get together. And nobody could work that out.
No.
but they were just too far to tear it down and start all over again.
You are correct, man. I agree with you. Yeah, you said it better than I could. I could even overlook little details like that, except that, and I think there are, when you get to stories like this, fairy tales and whatnot, there are those things that don't make sense, but we overlook them because the story is so strong, the characters are so beloved, and I just don't think that's the case here. I don't think the story's strong enough to cover those things that we're probably overthinking right now. The romance in here is just, it's not only a typical romance or a rom-com, but it's just kind of sappy to me. It was just kind of corny. Even for a cartoon, it seems like they again, maybe overthinking this, but it doesn't seem like these two characters, Wade and Ember, that they've been together long enough for Wade to be saying things like, I can't imagine a life without you, or I can't live without you. It was just very cheesy to me. And I'm not a huge fan of cheesy romance movies anyway. Maybe rom-coms if they're funny enough. But the other thing is they try to add some urgency to this movie. I would tell you that there's no villain in here except maybe prejudice, But they also, to add some urgency
and shoddy engineering.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They try to add some urgency by saying that there's a dam that's going to bust loose at any time, and that they have to try to figure out a way. And of course, they all have to work together to figure that out. But that dam story, man, that damn story is like it's an afterthought. Like I forgot that dam was even breaking loose half the time.
Well, plus I was like, realistically, I mean, you can't say realistically, but the city should be fixing that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like once that's determined, it shouldn't be like, well, that's up to you. It's like, no, the city is supposed to fix something like that.
So Wade, that's how Wade meets Ember. Wade's an inspector, and Ember messes up her father's store with some piping in it. But everybody's plumbing is faulty. But they have to work together to try to figure out how to stop this plumbing in father's store. And then on top of that, they have to figure out how to work together now to convince their parents for them to be together because they're working together and falling in love. Anyway, it's the whole dam story, all that damn story. The story with the dam busting loose is just a reason for them to get together and work together, and it's an afterthought in the movie. And half the time I forgot about that water breaking loose. I didn't even when they came back to it, like, oh yeah, that's right, that's a problem. Yeah. But there's nothing really going on there, man. So for the most part, I enjoyed being in Elemental City. I enjoyed walking around there. And I will tell you this, I also enjoyed the voice work of the two leads, Mamoudou Athie and Leah Lewis. I thought they did very well.
I thought so also. Matter of fact, I was impressed by all these voices, and they weren't big name celebrity voices.
Yeah, because listen, Wade is so goofy. Hey, I didn't know he was black.
I didn't know till you just showed it.
Yeah, that's because I went home.
I never thought that.
Yeah, I had to go to 5 or 10 different pages because I thought this ain't him.
Hey, it's funny because when the movie was done, I always looked to see the credits, like who the voices. Yeah. I was like, I couldn't pick out anybody. And when they showed those names, I was like, oh, no, none of them.
No, none of these
I do know him, but I didn't recognize his name.
I know the actor.
Yeah.
I know he was just in something with Elizabeth Olsen that was pretty big, but I didn't know his name that well either. But you probably start to get to know his name now because I like the actor actually.
Yeah, I do too. I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
He's one of those actors that
was he in the last Jurassic Park?
He was.
Yeah. That's right. He was. So he's going to be one of those guys, I believe, where you don't know his name yet, but he's starting to come up, and you're going to start to know his name later on down the line. But listen. I might not like the romance with them too much. I might have thought it was sappy, but as far as the voice actors working together, I did think that worked, and I enjoyed watching them.
You're so hot.
Excuse me?
Boy, you're going to catch a case saying that.
I mean, you're smoking. No, I didn't mean it like that.
Are you done yet?
Yes, please.
I'm waiting to talk to your boss.
know, you saw how they built the stadium and everything. The world is great, man. I loved it. And I'll tell you another character I like. I'm just gonna show you like a quick glimpse of this character. I like that little horny kid that was always after Amber. That little Earth kid. Every time, now you talk about some sexual harassment. every time Amber left the store, this was a little badass kid that, hey girl, hey baby, where you going?
Yo, Ember.
Yo, Claude, can't talk. In a hurry.
Anyway, June Bloom is coming, and you just got to be my date. And I smell good.
Well, you can take your little ass home.
Who was that kid? That kid sound familiar.
I don't know. I don't know. That's
Come on, Amber, just break me off a piece.
yeah.
Why are you fronting?
Let this dirt up your skirt. Get your little ass home.
Nice legs. What time are they open?
This was, for me, as I said, story didn't work too well, but there's a lot of details with the world building and the art and everything else with this, and the characters I like. So I'm going to give this a matinee.
The thing about this movie, as I watched it, I was like, man, this is like Pixar 101. It's not, you could see it wasn't meant to be one of their big releases. They didn't throw everything into it. But, you know, it has the Pixar earmarks of the anthropomorphic characters, the puns. It looks beautiful, great voice acting. And there's still some plot elements that come from all the other movies. It's like watching, I was like, okay, they aren't shooting for the stars with this one. So no. I can meet it on that level. It's entertaining. I do think the puns are too much, but they don't, with them, they aren't going, huh? It makes all the difference. It's like, all right, you got a bunch of
It's all in the background.
Yeah, it's all in the background. It's fine. I think what made me enjoy it, it's like I was enjoying it on a certain level, and I think it's fun. But I gotta say, it did tug on me emotionally, and I was surprised because I was like you. I was like, the romance is sappy, and Wade is a little bit too goofy. I did find by the end, by the third act, I was emotionally invested in what was happening, and they pull off something where I was like, God damn it, you guys! I'm almost about to tear up here. You nailed it, but you Pixar rascals, you. So I walked away going like, yeah, this is a matinee, maybe even a high matinee.
Yeah, it's same with me, matinee area. So there you go, folks. For what that's worth.